Thank you, everybody, for joining us this morning. My name is Rick Homans. I'm the president and CEO of the Tampa Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation. And last week, under the leadership of our prefetto, Bob Buckhorn, here in Tampa, he comes back with a new name every trip we take. We conducted a business development mission to Sao Paulo and Porto Alegre, and we coordinated this trip with all of the partners at this table, building on over a decade-long relationship with Brazil established by Visit Tampa Bay and Visit St. Pete Clearwater, which has really deep roots in the marketplace. But we all had different agendas during our trip to Sao Paulo and Porto Alegre, would come together on key business networking and promotional events. And I want to thank each of our partners here for their leadership and participation in this mission, and also to Guilherme Gerdau Johan Petter, right here, who is the president of Gerdau North America. And one of the great parts of the trip was being able to visit in Porto Alegre, the international headquarters of Gerdau, the management team there. So we'll hear from Guilherme in just a little bit, but want to thank him and his team for their hospitality this morning. All of us together, I have to say, created quite the buzz in Sao Paulo and Porto Alegre. The Consul General told us that this was the biggest and the best planned mission that he had ever seen from a community our size coming to Brazil. And this was Tampa in force on the road, taking our community to the international stage. And I think you'll hear from what we report on this morning that we were very successful. Brazil is important to Tampa Bay for a number of reasons. One, it's the fifth largest country in the world and home to Latin America's most prosperous economy. It is the top trading partner for Florida. An estimated $470 billion is about to be spent on infrastructure as the country prepares for the World Cup and the Olympic Summer Games in 2016. And one of the most important things that we saw while we were there in Brazil is there is definitely a growing middle class that has a great capacity to purchase goods. And the demand for these goods outstrips the supply, and that's why we took a group of businesses with us, 12 businesses, down to Sao Paulo to do matchmaking missions to sell their products. The other most significant thing about this trip, I feel, is December 16th is going to be a big day here in Tampa Bay when we open up direct flights with Copa Airlines through Panama to, I believe it's 7 Brazilian cities, including Porto Alegre and Sao Paulo. This will open up all kinds of channels for business on the commercial side, on the visitor side, and on the political, diplomatic, cultural side as well. And we want to kind of grease the wheels in advance, make sure that we are priming this relationship, we're priming that channel, and opening it up for lots of activity. The key part of the EDC's mission was, as I said, taking these 12 companies with us. In their 3 days in Sao Paulo, many of them are here with us this morning, they conducted over 70 meetings with businesses to sell their products, sell their services directly. I want to thank, in particular, Max Stewart with Enterprise Florida, who worked closely with the U.S. Commercial Service, which was challenging in itself because as we were planning this trip, the federal government shut down, which made it kind of interesting to plan a trip into a foreign country. But we succeeded against all that very successfully. With the mayor's leadership, we held meetings with some of the largest and most influential business organizations in Brazil, including the Federation of Industries of the state of Sao Paulo, again, the Federation of Industries in Rio Grande do Sul, the Sao Paulo Chamber, AmCham Porto Alegre, and FedraSul. And it's through these associations that we're going to be able to access thousands of companies in Brazil in this market and hopefully be able to establish prosperous trade relationships with them. We hosted a Doing Business in Tampa seminar in both cities, attended by over 200 people, where we were able to present the assets and the reasons and how to do business here in Tampa Bay. Two local connections that we worked very hard while we were on this trip. One is with Mosaic. I came to, and most of us came to know Mosaic in a very different light as we were on this journey. One of Brazil's strongest areas of export potential and growth potential is in agribusiness, particularly soybean production, and looking for better and different and more efficient kinds of fertilizer to use to enhance production of these goods. Mosaic is a key part of that equation. In the next couple of years, Mosaic will be investing millions of dollars here in Tampa Bay to increase the production of what they call their micro-essentials product, which uses the latest technology to increase crop yields for countries like Brazil. And this local investment is expected to significantly increase exports through the Port of Tampa to Brazil, to Sao Paulo, to Porto Alegre. And so we're going to see a direct impact here, and that's just a great example of the connection between our economy here and the economy of southern Brazil. The second relationship that we have that's so important is right here in this room with our friends from Gerdau. When you have, as a community, a headquarters operation in your city, a company that employs about 10,000 people nationally here in North America, the headquarters operation, 450 people in Tampa Bay. Gerdau has 120 locations throughout North America, and this is the heart of their operation right here in this building, in these offices. Gerdau has provided steel for the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, the Florida Aquarium, the Glazer Children's Museum, IKEA, and it's currently, as you drive out I-4 and go under the connector, you'll see about 19,000 tons of Gerdau steel in the I-4 connector. So it's an integral part of our community, our economy, and we are proud to have Gerdau here in Tampa. And we went to meet with their senior leadership at their headquarters and say thank you for having their headquarters here, and to see if there's anything that we can do to help them be even more successful here in North America. Finally, I want to recognize our sponsors who made this trip possible. Mosaic, Odebrecht, the Tampa Bay Trade and Protocol Council, Deborah Wilkinson, Fowler White Boggs, who participated in our seminars about doing business, and Ficina Construction. Without these folks participating on this trip, it would not have been as successful as it was. So we have our partners will make a few comments this morning, then we'll have some questions from the media. And the first person I want to invite up to make a few comments is Mayor Bob Buckhorn. Mayor.
Rick, thank you. First of all, let me thank Lori and Deborah for an amazing job. I mean, it's hosting one of these things and managing one of these things is a logistical nightmare, if you will. If you can imagine hurting all of us, and given all the challenges of operating in a different country, the staff work is what makes these things successful. So you guys did a great job, and we wouldn't be nearly as good as what we are without the work that you guys do. So thank you first and foremost. Let me tell you the reason why we do these trips. See, this is Brazilian money. And the opportunity to go tell Tampa's story to the world, whether it was in Israel, whether it's Panama, whether it's Germany, whether it's Switzerland, whether it's Colombia, or whether it's Brazil, is important. Because we can't just rely on domestic activities and domestic job relocations. We've got to expand our universe, and we've got to go plant the flag of Tampa on the international stage and go to the places where our natural constituencies are and natural trading partners are, where we share languages, where we share cultures. I mean, if we're going to be the gateway to the Americas, we have to go be the gateway to the Americas. Because I can promise you it's not coming to us via email. It's not coming to us because we think we're good. It's going to come to us because we're going to go get the business. And we're going to go out there and tell Tampa's story, and we're going to build those relationships with people who may not know who we are. They know Miami, they know Orlando. It's about damn time they learned where Tampa, Florida is. And so that's what we do. We took our partners, the airport and the port and the business community, and Visit Tampa Bay, and we went out and told Tampa's story. And at the end of this relationship, and understand this is the start of this process. This is not the end, because you have to establish those relationships before people will do business with you. So this is the beginning of a very, very long relationship with Brazil. They're already one of our largest trading partners. If you go to Busch Gardens, you see Brazilians everywhere. You see the yellow and green. You hear the Portuguese throughout the park. We need more of that. We want more of that. We want more opportunities for Gerdau to be here. We want Brazilian companies to look to Tampa, Florida as a great place to invest and to travel and to send educational delegations to establish those relationships with our companies. And at the end of the day, if we do that, we will become the gateway to the Americas, and we will be able to tell Tampa's story and have it pay off in dividends, both economic, educational, cultural. Now, we signed a new sister city relationship with Porto Alegre. I helped lead their team to victory.
One of their teams.
One of their teams. And those of you, I ended up on the second page of a Porto Alegre newspaper cheering for the team that won, thankfully. For those of you who don't know, soccer is a serious business in Brazil. Greg Schiano wouldn't last too long, I don't think, in Brazilian soccer. But it was a great trip, and I think you're going to hear from everybody that the seeds have been planted and that tree is going to sprout. But we've got to keep after it. It's not just one trip, it's multiple trips. We hope that they will come to Tampa over the next year. The mayor of Porto Alegre, who's a wonderful, wonderful gentleman, indicated that that was a possibility. So that's how it begins. But we're here. We're serious about this. There will be more trips. We intend to pursue this trade strategy with aggression, and we're going to go get the business. And we're not waiting for anyone to tell us that we need to ask for permission anymore. So viva Tampa and viva Brazil.
So our next speaker this morning is Guilherme Gerdau Johan Petter from the North American Gerdau operations here, and a member of the Gerdau family that we're so honored to have with us. So Guilherme.
Thank you. Welcome here. This is our, we consider this, even though we are Brazilians, and we consider Tampa our home. Gerdau is a global steel company that began as a small nail shop in Porto Alegre more than 110 years ago. Our company has been a leader in steel industry consolidation and process optimization for the last 20 years. Today we have around 45,000 employees with industrial operations in 14 countries in the Americas, Europe, and in Asia. Our tremendous growth has led us to become a leading producer of long steel in the Americas and one of the largest suppliers of special long steel products. Our 2012 consolidated revenue, now in dollars, is close to $20 billion. Gerdau is proud to have one of our largest business divisions ran out of Tampa Bay. Our roots in this great city go back to Florida steel days, from the Flums. The company operated a mill here many years ago, and when Gerdau acquired the company, Tampa became an obvious choice to manage our operations due to its world-class infrastructure, dedicated workforce, pro-business environment, and the high quality of life here in the area. We currently employ close to 450 people here at the 3 locations in the Hillsborough County, and approximately 10,000 people in North America. We'd like to also thank everyone. We recognize some very important names in our business. Mosaic, which do grinding balls out of our grinding ball operation in Minnesota to their fertilizing plants. And also Odebrecht, we do a tremendous amount of business. It's an absolutely world-class construction company. Again, thank you very much. We have many gauchos, even though we don't cheer for the winning team, Mayor. Soccer is a serious business in Brazil, and it's gonna get even more serious next year. Folks, welcome, and again, thank you very much. We see this at the Tampa Porto Alegre Sister City program, and we welcome this initiative. Like I said, folks, we talk to hundreds of people a day from Porto Alegre and Tampa. We see a fit for that partnership. And again, thank you and welcome to Gerdau.
I think for the rest of the speakers, we can stay at the tables. Next person I'd like to introduce is Joe Lopano, CEO of Tampa International Airport.
Thank you, Rick, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. And my friend from the port's helping me out here with this mic. Thank you, Joe. This is what we call teamwork. Well, I'll tell you, this is an amazing team, and Rick has outlined the way that we approach these strategic initiatives, and the mayor is a leader of these initiatives. It's important that this community create awareness internationally, and it takes great leadership in order to do that, and I appreciate the teamwork that we show in this community to create awareness internationally. We're no longer going to be in the shadows of Miami or Orlando. As the mayor said, we need to expand our universe. Opportunities that lie for us outside the borders of the United States. And I think the fact that Copa Airlines is now going to fly to Panama City, but more importantly, will connect the Tampa Bay community to 7 major cities in Brazil and 50 to 55 cities throughout Central and South America. So that's a critical piece of infrastructure that we now have, which we did not have before, and that's going to play a big role in the development of the relationships between here and South America. We are in a very competitive environment. When we went down to Brazil, there were others who were there before us, and there'll be others who go there after us. And we can't sit back and expect to be successful without going out and being aggressive. We are in this to win it, and winning it is measured in terms of jobs and economic growth. And I know the mayor gets that, I know Rick gets that, I know Bob gets that, everybody at this table gets it. And it's important for this community for us to go forward in an aggressive way. So thanks again for being here this morning. That's all I got.
Raul Alfonso, Vice President at the Tampa Port Authority.
Well, I'm not the Vice President, I'm the Executive Vice President. Good morning. No, Mike is fine. I'm a newcomer to Tampa Bay. I mean, 9 months, and this is my first trade mission here with this team, and I'm very proud to be part of this team. This is what it's all about, working together to elevate Tampa Bay, Tampa, our region, to the new heights. This is our goal. We're headed in the right direction. I've been to many of these trade missions. I've been to Brazil for over 20 years. I found my wife in Brazil, from Porto Alegre, coincidence. Brazil is very important to our port. Our cargo handling is almost 1 million tons of cargo that we export and import. Significant to the economic impact that we're trying to generate. We had great meetings in Sao Paulo, and we talked to a lot of new companies that are in fact looking to expand operations in North America. When you talk North America, they're looking at Florida. And when they're looking at Florida, now they're going to be looking at Tampa Bay. I'm already working with a couple of major companies that will be evaluating how they can use the port, the Tampa Bay region, for the new jump into our great market, our great state. So this is what it's all about, and I'm looking forward to following up to other trade missions in our efforts to make Tampa Bay what we all know it's going to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Raul. If you can kind of imagine, as we were down here, we had four key tracks. One was the EDC and the business development, the trade mission. The other was the diplomatic, kind of political, with the trade associations and the vice mayors and the mayors. Another one was University of South Florida that has been doing a lot of work to develop relationships throughout Brazil, and they had a packed schedule during their trip, and the other one was under Visit Tampa Bay that had an equally aggressive schedule while we were there. So I want to turn to Dr. Maria Crummett to outline a little bit what University of South Florida sees in Brazil.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. I want to also extend my thanks to Rick from the EDC and his team, the mayor. Without their leadership, the success of this trip would not have been to the extent that we have seen. It was an extraordinary opportunity for the University of South Florida. As you know, the university sees itself, has defined itself as a global institution. We believe, our President Judy Genschach believes, that you cannot be a great university in the 21st century without a global outreach, and impact. We had an outstanding set of meetings that included a total of 9 universities and specialized institutes, 7 of them through the Gold Key service provided by the Enterprise Florida and the Commercial Service. The visits included major research universities, very much in line with the type of profile that is exhibited by the University of South Florida, research-intensive, national and international recognition, with significant and outstanding programs in engineering, business, the health sciences, among many others. We visited, along with the universities, several specialized centers and institutes, again, in the areas of business, engineering, the arts and humanities, including the top business school in Brazil, arguably the top business school in Latin America, one of the top in the world, given its recognitions, Fundación Getúlio Vargas, and 2 of the top-ranked arts and humanities programs in Brazil, Belas Artes and FAPE. One of the highlights of the program in Porto Alegre, where we signed and have a sister city agreement now, was to visit the Tecnopuc. And this is a part of the university, the PUC, which is the Catholic University of Rio Grande do Sul in Porto Alegre, one of the top research universities in Brazil. A research and development park that brings together in some of the most innovative ways that we have seen at any research and development park that the University of South Florida is engaged in. Bringing together the private sector, academia, and government to really provide cutting-edge research. What about opportunities for the University of South Florida, given all of these meetings that were indeed quite aggressive, very intense, beginning at 6 in the morning and ending sometimes 8 or 9 at night? But we've got opportunities for dual degree programs, short-term certificate programs in the areas of business analytics, international marketing, advertising, microelectronics, software engineering, even sports management. Student and faculty exchanges, along with some traditional study abroad opportunities, joint research, a huge opportunity in the area of joint research. Tecnopuc, the research and development park, where we have a signed agreement, has been in place in the area of pharmacy, but opportunities there from clinical pharmacology, the Brain Center, with our Alzheimer's Center at the University of South Florida. These are just some of the opportunities that will define the relationships that we have and continue to build, and will be significant as the university. Yes, we are a global player, but we are also part of the team that the mayor, in identifying global as a critical component of what the city and its future is all about, USF is very much in line with that. If the city is going to identify Brazil as a strategic partner, USF is also looking to identify through a variety of different ways. One, Science Without Borders. Brazil has invested in higher education in ways that we have not seen by any other country in Latin America and probably in the world, funding 100,000 students to study abroad. USF has a segment of that student population we'd like to see more, studying in the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we are a partner with the city, with the Tampa Bay area, defining global as a strategic initiative of the university. The opportunities are significant. We have the wherewithal. Now it just means we need to follow through, continue those partnerships, deepen the relationships, and certainly work with the city, the port, the airport, our partners, the private sector represented there as well. USF is part of this initiative. We are with the Tampa Bay area and define ourselves as a team.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
As I said at the beginning, our regional visitor bureaus, Visit Tampa Bay, Visit St. Pete, Clearwater, really have blazed the trail in Brazil, established relationships, and helped in large part lead to the Copa Airlines flight here as well. So speaking on their behalf, Santiago Carrata, the CEO of Visit Tampa Bay.
Thank you, Rick. Good morning, everyone. You know, we've been in Brazil with our partners, Visit St. Pete, Clearwater, for over 15 years. But this trip was so special because the entire cavalry was there. We've been there alone with Visit St. Pete, Clearwater for quite some time. We've been hosting sales missions there for over a decade. And we underestimate sometimes the power of tourism. The mayor mentioned gateway. Tourism is the gateway to future business relocation and economic development. When individuals visit a new destination and they see how great that destination can be, there's an interest in possibly setting up shop there. So that is why Brazil has been so very, very important for us for so many, many years. They are our fourth largest international market, but in visitor spending, and I believe someone mentioned it earlier, they're tops. They spend more money than any visitors from any other part of the globe, and that's why this trip was so very, very important to us. I can tell you, in addition to Rick's team just doing a phenomenal job, our team at Visit Tampa Bay, and two of our team members are here today, Sherry Bailey, our Director of Tourism, and Liana Lopez, our Public Relations Director, make sure we have no fun on these trips. They just make sure that we are constantly involved in business and that we get no opportunity to see any of the sights or really enjoy what some of these great cities have to offer. We were very, very busy. In fact, in Sao Paulo, we hosted a luncheon where we saw over 60 travel agencies, tour operators, many that were new, that had very little idea of what we had to offer, and with our great partners at Tampa International Airport and Visit St. Pete Clearwater, we had 4 major events over 5 days. In Sao Paulo, we also hosted luncheons where we saw over 100 representatives from the travel industry. We hosted media receptions in Sao Paulo the evening after the big luncheon with all of those tour operators and owners of travel agencies. We hosted over 35 members of the travel media industry. And in fact, we had Compañía de Viaje, which is a large media, tour media, print and TV, and then Marcelo, and I'm going to say this wrong, Marcelo Moraes, who is known as the Anthony Bourdain of Brazil, joined us and did a special there. All the time we were, and somebody mentioned Copa, that's the hard part of coming last in some of these press conferences. Copa was there with us at all of the cities promoting their direct flights, which now make travel very, very convenient, all the way from Brazil to Panama to Tampa. It is probably the most direct route from now South America that you can take into Tampa. So again, very, very productive time with Copa there, selling the Tampa region, selling those flights. And when we weren't meeting with travel operators and tour agencies and the media, we were doing seminars on how to travel to Tampa, how to bring new visitors and guests to Tampa with our partners from the Florida Aquarium, Jason Carroll, that also visited with us over there in Brazil. And the mayor mentioned Orlando and Miami, and I've got a new line that I borrowed from a friend who said you can use it and use it as often as you want. Whenever you want to remember Florida, there are 3 things you need to remember about Florida: Miami Vice, Orlando Mice, Tampa Nice. So I close with that, and that's what we've been using to make sure that we're part of that threesome. Thanks, Rick. Thanks for the opportunity to be here today.
So another key part of this trip was cultivating the sister cities relationship between Porto Alegre and Tampa. Deborah Wilkinson was the leader on that, along with Alfred Goldberg from Absolute Mobile Solutions, who is the volunteer chairman, I believe, of the sister cities effort. But Deborah, please.
Thank you, Rick, and thank you everyone for being here and inviting me here this morning. I'm new to the area as well. 12 years in Broward County and all over the state as well, working with different missions. Prior to that, being in Washington State, where they took missions on a weekly basis, it felt like, with the governor's office. But I can tell you, I chose to come here when I was recruited and looked at what the mayor had laid out and his vision of where he wanted to go, and how we were working with all these wonderful partners at this table and with you as well, with the companies, and said, wow, they get it. This mayor's vision has put us right where we need to be, and it's growing and growing. And why is that important? The Trade Council has many members that are sitting here. However, one of the major things it does is it blends the protocol and all of the consular corps and all the sister cities and all of our binationals into doing business that hopefully keeps Rick so busy that he won't be able to stop. And that's what's exciting about this. How did we pick Porto Alegre? It was very simple. We started researching Porto Alegre during the summer and found these synergies between both. We're dynamic, and they've got 1.5 right in Porto Alegre. The whole county's got 1.3 here. We have similarities in our cargo, our shipping. They have 5 rivers that come into their Porto Alegre area. 5 rivers that come in, and that's for cargo. They have a lot of synergy that goes with our airport. You've got Copa that you just heard coming down, and that was all over. Everyone saying, we're happy Copa's here, we're happy Copa's here. And I took Copa because I flew out of Miami and took Copa down. So it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. It was my second time down there. And I can just tell you from what we did and how the signing and how the agreements went is exactly what this mayor and this county want to see. They want to take every one of these sister city agreements and look how we work in the beginning with the arts and cultural, cultural awareness, the tourism, the health, and then that builds the business. And that's what we're doing right now, is we're building the business. When they come to us, we're probably going to have cooperative agreements that come not from the sister cities agreement, but is attached with the sister cities agreement to complement the business side that the team will be working on. So I'm just very, very excited. It was a wonderful 2 or 3 days in Porto Alegre, and you've got a mayor here that really does get it. And as he says, and I guess I get to quote it this time, it's his time and it's our time. So thank you, Mayor, for having such a great delegation with you, and Rick, thank you, and thanks, Lori, because Lori, you need to know, has some experience from the governor's side as well, so you got the best of the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, we were very happy to have Bob Rorlach, the president of the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce, join us for the Porto Alegre portion of the trip and participate in all the meetings that we had there. So, Bob.
Thank you, Rick, and thank you all for being here. There's not much more that I can add to this, but the role of the Chamber being there is we established a relationship with the AmCham in Porto Alegre, and we're part of the signing for the Sister City Agreement. But to see all the players that were there, you know, the mayor is a big cheerleader when he's here in town. You should see him when he's on the road, being a cheerleader. But from tourism to EDC to university, our airport and our seaport, and of course Grenell being such a major player for us, and everyone that was there. It was one of those times when you realize everything's hitting right. We are the masters of our destiny. Things are working. And the response that we got from our hosts and our counterparts when we were in Porto Alegre, the part of the trip I was there for, was just amazing. They want to work with us. They want to be here. They want to see the opportunities. So we'll be continuing to work to help the business community, along with Rick, our business community, understand the opportunities that are out there for them that they need to be taking advantage of. It's a global market. We should be going after those dollars and reals that the mayor had in his pocket, and just making sure everyone knows the opportunities that are here. But as the head cheerleader at home, the mayor does a very good job on the national scale, cheering soccer teams on and recruiting business. So it's a great trip. The community should be very proud.
And finally, before we open up to the media for questions, I'd like to ask the companies that went along on the trip, if you could please just stand and be recognized here. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. I'm amazed you guys are still standing after the schedules that you had. Finally, I want to just repeat what the mayor said. A trip like this takes months of planning. And especially when you're operating in a foreign country, one little detail going wrong can affect the whole operation. And so attention to detail is so key. The ability to work with people is so key. I want to thank Lori Belovich for her efforts to make this work. Jennifer McCoskey for being along on the trip and helping to smooth out all the issues that came up as well, that always do when you're traveling internationally and with such a big delegation of about 50 people. So thank you, thank you.